Hey guys, it's Aseem Sharma, Training Manager from Solframe Consulting. Again, I do hope you're all doing well. Today, I want to briefly explore a few aspects about how you can grow professionally within your career, your work environment, and what you should look out for when you start a new job. So, first things first. Generally, now we are in the COVID era, and a lot of us are working on a remote basis. But prior to that, we would have, let's say, an induction, and that would be a kind of formality, let's be honest, with a group of people. Typically, if you've joined a medium to a large organization. If it's a small company, then you may have a direct contact with the leadership and you may be reporting directly to them. But in any case, the orientation and trying to understand the work culture, and let's be honest, I mean, I'm being very blunt here, but a lot of the work culture is the same across the corporate sector, let's say. Having said that, there are a few things to look out for. Remind yourself of the designation that you've been accepted for. So, let's say in my previous job, I have training experience. So I started off as an interviewer, language assessor, then I moved on to a trainer. So I had to be quite aware of my responsibilities and how do I fit within the organization, who exactly I should be interacting with. Not to say that I ignore people, of course not, that would be incredibly rude, but who would I be interacting with more regarding work, who can give me more resources, what to look out for, be cognizant of your environment, who are you reporting to, do you have any targets, are there any metrics, how is your performance being monitored, all of these kind of things. And it's important that you take that initiative and you are proactive in doing this. People aren't going to expect, that you are, spoon-fed all the time and you're going to be served a dish with all the information that's required. You have to go out there and grab it. Now, that has to be done within moderation. I mean, not that you're on your manager's back all the time and he or she already has a lot on their plate and then you just add to that burden. So you need to be able to perceive cues, which may be verbal or non-verbal, okay? And that takes practice. It's funny because we don't really get taught life skills and personality development as part of our school, college, or even university. We tend to experience these things firsthand, and some people are better than others. It may be an inherent thing, it may be that they've already experienced certain things which have put them in good stead for the future. Whatever the case may be, we can make a difference to our own personal development, which should be on a continual basis. So you may have heard of this phrase of continual professional development, or learn from other people or those friends and colleagues who matter to you. You can contribute to their growth as well, and of course you can take constructive feedback. So you want to achieve a balance between being modest but also assertive as well, because if you keep asking people that, look, how am I doing, people will perceive you to be a little kind of insecure, which isn't the last thing that you want. And similarly, if you come across as being a bit pompous and saying, hey, I know everything, don't tell me what to do, get lost, then of course that's not good either. So you need to have that balance, and there's something known as the kind of four core values, where one is an excessive element, another is a weakness, and you need to achieve a balance between the moderating factors. And that's something that you can explore in one of the courses that we have on public speaking skills and communication. But coming back to this, let's take an example. So on my induction day, I was grouped with a lot of other people who were in a BPO sector, and they were agents. And no disrespect to them, but the information that was being conveyed to them in terms of their privileges, their breaks, whether they had phone access on the floor, and generally their KPIs, their key performance indicators, that was quite different to what I was doing. I was kind of a step above them, arguably, but I still considered myself part of them only because I was on the same band. So the HR would occasionally say to me, Aseem, whatever I've just said, you can ignore that, which was a bit amusingly ironic, let's put it that way. I was making notes fervently on my phone because we weren't allowed paper. It was a paperless environment, so she was convinced that I was texting someone the whole way through, and I did tell her, I did assure her that no, I'm making notes. To the point when she asked me, give me your phone, let me check, and then she was surprised that actually that's all I'd been doing. I'm very fond of taking notes because I don't have very good memory, and it helps me to structure everything that has happened and give me a mental replay. And that's also the importance of documentation, which is a video that I've already mentioned, which my manager keeps telling me to do, and thank God for that. I digress. Anyway, the point is, be aware of your surroundings. Information which you feel is not wholly relevant to you may still be useful. So just learn how to categorize in terms of priority what is important, what is relevant to you, what is pertinent, and what are things that perhaps they can take a back seat, okay? But it's good to know, because who knows, in the future, due to an organizational restructure, you may be in that situation temporarily, you may be taking on other duties, and it's happened with me. Hey, I was a trainer, but that didn't stop me from being involved in hiring. I took that ownership, and marketing as well, and meeting clients, and delivering presentations, and involved in some operational aspects and supervision, which was all great, but of course it meant that I was running around doing all sorts of things, which gives you that kind of thrill factor, but sometimes that adrenaline becomes a little exhausting and you just want a day of solitude, so to speak. But the things that you can look out for are, what's expected of you, as I've already mentioned, how you can improve yourself, how you can monitor your performance, who should you be asking for feedback, if you have any concerns, who should you be expressing those to. Typically it will be your immediately reporting manager, but in case things aren't good with him or her or them, if you're reporting to multiple people, which can be a nightmare actually. What's the escalation matrix? Let's be honest, every organization will have a kind of complaints procedure, but no one really wants you to be complaining. It does create bad blood, it does create that kind of, it gives a very kind of hostile feel, and people don't like it. So try to avoid it, but then there are times where you have to say enough is enough. So, this is my ultimatum, and if that means that you need to change something, then I don't think you should hold back, and I've come across those situations. I'm a fairly outspoken person, so maybe I encounter these things more often than the average person. I don't know. I don't mind conflict as long as it's healthy and it's productive and it leads to a successful outcome for everyone in some shape or form. So, as I said, you don't want to be passive, but you want to be, you want to assert your rights, but you want to be polite and professional. So let's say someone is giving you feedback and they say, Aseem, you haven't been doing this right. So I may probe them, and I've mentioned this in a previous video as well. Oh, okay, so what do you think I can improve? How can I make this constructive? And if you don't feel that you're getting the right answers from them, and at the end of the conversation you still don't know actually what they want, you just know that they're not happy with you, and maybe it's under a different pretext, they're citing something else, then you can say, look, I don't agree with this because I don't have any factual information. This is my data, and I can vouch for that, and this is what I've been doing. So, I would like another review, or I would like to escalate this. I mean, why hesitate? Well, whatever the case may be. Maybe you need leave. Maybe you need annual leave, and you've worked enough time, and you know that right now the bandwidth is such that it can be handled, it can be catered for, your request, and you're giving enough notice, and it's reasonable. But for some reason your manager just doesn't like you. Unfortunately, that happens, and they refuse. So what do you do about it then? Do you involve the HR, or do you try to handle things yourself? I would not recommend buttering people. I don't do it myself. I find it disgusting. And if you do that, then it sets a precedent, an incorrect precedent, that you can just, you're a bit of a pushover. So it's fine to be cordial, but then business means business. And, hey, you're putting in your hours, and you deserve to be paid and remunerated. And if they're not giving you the leave, I would be as blunt as saying, okay, if they're not giving me the leave, then I would like to encash my leave, even if that's not your policy, because you're not following your policy. Although many people would say that leave is not an automatic entitlement, but then people also say, and as per the labour law, you are entitled to leave. So these can be tricky situations. Remember, stand up for your rights, okay? Try to see what works in your organization, and that may be different across the various organizations, although most of them tend to fall into one or two categories. The open door policy and all that, people say that, but at the end of the day, your manager is going to mind, let's be honest, if you escalate things, because no one wants to have a bad name. Clearly it shows that they've not been able to handle something. So don't hold back. Don't kind of wait for that impending moment and think, oh God, what if? I would say just do it, because life is too short. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but we can see what's happening in the world right now, and you don't know whether tomorrow will ever come. So do something positive in your life. Try to grow. Ask for a promotion if you think you deserve it. Make the points why. Don't just say, I deserve a hike or I deserve a promotion. You need to back that up with data and evidence, right? Just go for it, guys. That's all I can say. I'm not the most successful person, but I'm trying. And negative things I try to put behind me. I try to learn and introspect where I went wrong and improve. But living in fear is the worst thing that you can do, honestly. Taking from someone who has experienced it a lot. Until next time, I do hope you found this useful. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, and of course our LinkedIn page. If you have any questions or you'd like to comment below, please do. Until next time, please do take care, stay safe. It's been a pleasure presenting to you guys. Thank you very much.